Way too hard. 0 out of 10. Bye. All kidding aside, this is now for my actual impressions. This is Elden Ring. I put off getting it for a long time because From Software games are way too hard. But this game has been getting so much hype, so much praise, that this is facing, so far, this is the game of the year, according to a lot of people. So I started to look into it, and I heard things like that the open world makes it more accessible, that you learn the mechanics to play and all this. So basically, because you're not stuck on a linear path, you learn to get good at the game, and thus you can progress. When before it would be much more frustrating because you have to keep repeating the same things. You don't have that. You don't have to deal with that here because you have other places to explore. So like, okay, well, I'll check it out. And so I finally broke down to pick this up, and after much hesitancy. And what I will say, as this is an impression, it's not a full review, the mechanics are felt rough at first as I was playing. In fact, I had to try different classes and things to find something that I was used to that I felt like I could grasp. And I tried several, and then I finally settled on one. And when I finally settled on one that I was used to, or not used to, but one that I felt like I could get a grasp of, I went ahead, went into the open world, and what I will say is that there is a gentleness and a relaxation aspect to exploring this world that you would think would go against the From Software mechanics when it comes to, because From Software is known for being not only difficult, but making their enemies look really terrifying. That's in here. But traversing the main open world when you first go out to it feels like Breath of the Wild. It really does. And having that relaxing Skyrim-esque, Breath of the Wild-esque type of environment, it somehow works with it's able to gel well with the tough mechanics of the game. Now, the thing that I definitely ended up playing it longer than I thought. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back or not. I'll let you guys know. But as I was playing it, I didn't want to stop, even though I died a few times. Normally, I quit after I died the first time. As for bosses, I wasn't able to beat any boss yet. But I did manage to get half of the health bar down on one of the bosses, which was not easy to do. But I managed to get that far, which I was surprised by. Also, there's a group of enemies in the beginning of the game, depending on where you go, these little flying creatures at the beginning. And I was able to take them all out, and I thought to myself, man, you guys are actually being lenient on me. I'm like, this shouldn't be. Because I ended up using a class that didn't have projectile abilities, and I thought you needed projectiles to take them down because they fly. But I was able to take down, I think, 3 or 4 of them easily with just a sword. And I thought, wow, you guys are being From Software, you're being really lenient on me. Appreciate it, but it just didn't feel like I was supposed to succeed there, but I did. But the thing that I found the most addictive was going towards the human base and pitching them off stealthily one by one. Because if you try to go in, roaring and making like a samurai, there is a samurai class in this game, obviously. But if you try to go in just roaring, they're going to overwhelm you quick. Like there's a couple of heavily armored characters with shields. There's a dog or a wolf or whatever. But what's really fun is taking your time and pitching them out one by one. Did I succeed in getting them all? No, but I got quite a bit. And it was those stealth kills, to me, that were the most satisfying. It was what kept me going. So, I'm not really a big stealth game person, but I will say this. I was definitely feeling a little bit of satisfaction getting stealth kills in this game, and a From Software game, nonetheless. And so what I will say, I don't know if I'm going to go back to this or not, but I ended up playing this longer than I thought. Wasn't able to kill the boss, but I was able to get half its energy down. And I was able to actually kill a few enemies before they eventually overwhelmed me. Actually, it was what finally did me is I ended up going in at the wrong time when dealing with an armored enemy. I have beaten that same armored enemy earlier, but I didn't really know how I did it. I kind of just timed it right accidentally. But there's a time when you have to make sure that you're in the right spot and make sure it's open, because if he's closed off and he throws that spear at you, it's going to be difficult for you to run away and replenish your Kingdom Hearts-esque juice, if you know what I'm talking about. So, did I enjoy my time? I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. I'm not sure if this... I don't think this is for me specifically, and that's okay. It wasn't as frustrating as I thought, because first of all, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew it wasn't... that it's a skill-based game. My frustration with difficulty in games stem from games that are supposed to be easy, story-driven experiences, interactive narratives, and I play on an easy setting, and I end up dying on it for some BS reason on it. To me, that's unacceptable. Where here, difficulty is the point. The whole point of this is to see how much you can do. I was hoping to get the horse, but I was too scared to take out that armored horse guy, so I didn't attempt. I mean, I walked by it, but I was like, maybe I should start a little smaller. But the thing so far, the thing that's been the most satisfying to me, as of now, are the stealth kills. The stealth kills are, were pretty satisfying to me. Seeing how much I could get. I mean, it's been done in other games, it's done in Far Cry, it's done in like Assassin's Creed, things like that. But doing it in From Software games, if you can pull that off, is vital to keep everyone from ganging up on you, especially when you've got armored dudes. You really want to take those out as soon as you can in the sneakiest way possible, because once they spot you, you have to worry. You got to deal with when they're going to open up, because then once they get that spear on you, ooh, you're done. The gore, by the way, is pretty satisfying. You can actually turn it off, by the way, in case you have kids over. But honestly, if you keep the gore on, please do so, because it's just it looks beautiful. I've never been happy, seeing my blood splatter everywhere, but it looked cool to me. Just a little thing. Also, the environments so far looked pretty cool, like the designs. I know From Software's got really intense designs. But so can I recommend this to easy gamers? I don't think so, unless you're willing to improve. But if you are curious, you might be surprised. Even if you suck still. By the way, I did terrible. If I were to stream it, you would be laughing at me and going, "Wow, this guy's horrible." And I was horrible, objectively so. But that was on me and my lack of experience with these types of games. But I was surprised by what I was able to accomplish so far. You never really know what you can do until you try, is what I'm trying to say. And so I would say, if you are curious, maybe get it used if you can, so that you can return it to GameStop if it's not for you, or you might be surprised and end up keeping it. I would recommend supporting the developers if you have that option, if you can afford to, simply because they're a third-party developer that is not ripping us off. But, so yeah, I can't recommend it for everybody, and I'm not even sure I can recommend it for myself, but if you are curious, you might want to take a peek and see what you can do. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say thumbs up or thumbs down. Obviously, we all know the quality of it is fantastic. That's a no-brainer at this point. But as for whether or not it's for people like myself, it really depends on your curiosity and how far you're willing to see what you can do. Because it is going to be tough. It is not going to be what you used to. I had to get used to its mechanics just to get a basic feel of it. But once you do, when you find that perfect fit, the suit that fits you, if you get what I mean, like when it comes to like how to the classific and stuff, you might be surprised. You might be playing this more than you think. That's all I got to say on Elden Ring, and I'll see you next time. Bye.